Hello everybody, 라이프스타트. Our little we got Numbers chapter 19. Let's read it together. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "This is a requirement of the law that the Lord has commanded. Tell the Israelites to bring your red heifer without defect or blemish, and that have never been under a yoke. Give it to Eleazar the priest. It is to be taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence. Then Eleazar the priest is to take some of its blood on his finger and sprinkle it 7 times through the front of the tent of meeting. While he was watches, the heifer is to be burned, its eyes, fresh blood, and offer. The priest is to take some cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet wool, and throw them onto the burning heifer. After that, the priest must wash his clothes and bathe himself with water, and may then come into the camp, but he will be ceremonially unclean till evening. The man who burns it must also wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he too will be unclean till evening. A man who is clean and shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and put them in a ceremonially clean place outside the camp, then shall be kept by the Israelite community for use in the water of unclean. It is for purification from sin. The man who gathers up the ashes of the heifer must also wash his clothes, and it too will be unclean till evening. This will be a resting ordinance both for the Israelites and for the aliens living among them. Whoever touches the dead body of anyone will be unclean for 7 days. He must purify himself with the water on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, then he will be clean. But if he does not purify himself on the 3rd and 7th days, he will not be unclean. Whoever touches the dead body of anyone who fails to purify himself defiles the Lord's tabernacle. That person must be cut from Israel, because the word of cleansing has not been sprinkling on him. He is unclean. His uncleanness remains on him. This is the law that applies to when a person dies in a tent. Anyone who enters the tent and anyone who is in it will be unclean for 7 days. And every open container without the lid fastened on it will be unclean. Anyone out in the open, he touches someone who has been killed with the sword, or someone who has died a natural death, or anyone who touched the human bone or grave will be unclean for 7 days. For the unclean person, put some ashes from the burnt purification offering in a jar and pour fresh water over them. Then a man who is ceremonially clean is to take some hyssop, dip it in the water, and sprinkle in the tent and all the furnishing and the people who were there. They must also sprinkle anyone who has touched the human bone or the grave, or someone who has been killed, or someone who has died naturally dead. The man who is clean is to sprinkle the unclean person on the 3rd day and 7th days, and on the 7th day he is to purify him. The person being cleaned must wash his clothes and face with water, and that evening he will be clean. But if a person who is unclean does not purify himself, he must be cut off from the community, because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of cleansing has not been sprinkled on him, and he is unclean. This is a lasting ordinance for them. The man who sprinkles the water of cleansing must also wash his clothes, and anyone who touches the water of cleansing will be unclean till evening. Anything that an unclean person touches becomes unclean, and anyone who touches it becomes unclean till evening. Numbers chapter 19, verses 1 through 22. Thank you. Hello everybody, Laismith here. I'll read of God, Numbers chapter 20. Let's read it together. In the first month, the whole Israelite community arrived at the desert of John, and they stayed at Kadesh. Their Midian died and was buried. Now there was no water for the community, and the people gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron. He quarreled with Moses and Aaron. If only we had died when our brothers fell dead before the Lord. Why did you bring the lost community into this desert, that we and our livestock should die here? Why did you bring us out of Egypt to this terrible place? It has no grain or figs, grapevines or pomegranate, and there is no water to drink. Moses and Aaron went from the assembly to the entrance to the tent of meeting and fell face down, and glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the staff, and you and your father Aaron gather the assembly together. Speak to that rock before their eyes, and it will be pour out its water. You will bring water out of a rock of the community, so that and their livestock and drink." So Moses took the staff from the lodge of fragrance, just as commanded him. He and Aaron gathered the assembly together in front of the rock, and Moses said to them, "Listen, you rebels, must we bring you water out of this rock?" Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I given them." These were the words of the Meribah, where the Israelites quarreled with the Lord, and where he showed himself holy among them. Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom, saying, "This is what your father Israel says. You know about all the hardships that has come upon us. Our forefathers went down into Egypt, and we lived there many years. The Egyptians mistreated us and our fathers. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard our cry and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. Now we are here at Kadesh, a town on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your country. We will not go through any field or vineyard or drink water from anywhere. We will travel along the king's highway and not turn to the right or to the left until we have passed through your territory." But Adam answered, "You may not pass through here. If you try, we will march out and attack you with the sword." The Israelites replied, "We will go along the main road, and if we will our livestock drink any of your water, we will pay for it. We only want to pass through on foot, nothing else." Again they answered, "You may not pass through. Then Aaron came out against them with a large and powerful army. Since Aaron refused to let them go through their territory, Israel turned away from them. The whole Israelite community set out from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. At Mount Hor, near the border of Edom, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will not enter the land I give the Israelites, because both of you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Get Aaron and his son Eleazar and take them up Mount Hor. Remove Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar, for Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will die there. Moses did as the Lord commanded. They went up Mount Hor in the sight of the whole community. Moses removed Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar, and Aaron died there on top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. And then the whole community learned that Aaron had died. The entire house of Israel mourned for him 3 days. Numbers chapter 20, verses 1 through 29. Thank you. Hello everybody, nice to meet you. Our read of Numbers chapter 21, let's read it together. When the Canaanite king of Arab, who lived in the Negev, heard that Israel was coming along the road to Ararim, he attacked the Israelites and captured some of them. Then Israel made this vow to the Lord, if you will deliver these people into our hands, we will totally destroy their cities. The Lord listened to Israel's plea and gave the Canaanites over to them. They completely destroyed them and their towns, so the place was named Haramon. They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the sea to go around Edom, but the people grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God and against Moses and said, why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the desert? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food. Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people and made Israelites die. The people came to Moses and said, we sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you, afraid that the Lord will take this snake away from us. So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, make a snake and put it on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live. So Moses made the bronze snake and put it up on a pole. Then when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, he lived. The Israelites moved on and camped at Oboth. Then they set out from Oboth and camped in the Abarim in the desert that faced Moab toward the sunrise. From there they moved on and camped in the Jared Valley. They set out from there and camped alongside the Arnon, which is in the desert, standing into Amorite territory. The Arnon is the border of Moab between Moab and the Amorites. That is why the book of the words of the Lord says, why have its Sabbath and the rabbis the Arnon, and the slopes of the rabbis that reach to the side of Ar and lies along the border of Moab. From there they continue on the Beer, where the Lord said to Moses, gather the people together and I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song, spring up, O well, sing about it. About the well that the princess dug, that the lover of people sank, the lovers with the scepter and steps. Then they sent from the desert to the Matat, from Matat to Nahaliel, from the Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth to the valley in Moab, where the top of Pisgah overlooks the wasteland. Israel sent messengers to say to Sihon, king of the Amorites, let us pass through your country. We will not turn aside into any fields or vineyard or drink water from anywhere. We will travel along the king's highway until we have passed through your territory. But Sihon would not let Israel pass through his territory. He mustered his entire army and marched out into the desert against Israel. When he reached Gazhaz, he fought with Israel. Israel, however, put him to the sword and took over his hand from the Arnon to the Jabbok, but only as far as the Amorites, because their border was fortified. Israel captured all the cities of the Amorites and occupied them, including Heshbon and all its surrounding settlements. Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of Amorites, who has fought against the former king of Moab and has taken from him all his land as far as the Arnon. That is why the poets say, come to Heshbon and let it be rebuilt. Let Sihon's city be restored. Fire went out from Heshbon, a blaze from the city of Sihon. It consumed Ar or Moab, the cities of Arnon's height. Woe to you, O Moab, you are destroyed. O people of Chemosh, he has given up his sons as fugitives and his daughters as captures to Sihon, king of the Amorites. But we have overthrown them. Heshbon is destroyed all the way to Dibon. We have demolished them as far as Nophah, which extend to Medeba. So Israel settled in the land of the Amorites. After Moses had sent the spies to Jazer, the Israelites captured its surrounding settlements and drive out the Amorites who were there. Then they turned and went up along the road toward Bashan. And Og, king of Bashan, and his whole army marched out to meet them in battle at Edrei. The Lord said to Moses, do not be afraid of him, for I have handed him over to you with his whole army and his land. Do to him what you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon. So they struck him down together with his sons and his whole army, leaving them no survivors, and they took possession of his land. Romans chapter 21, verses 1 through 35. Thank you.